Hello, dear friends. Here we have the opportunity of being together one more time in order to study the works of Spiritism in one of the articles of the issues of the Spiritist magazine. What a blessing to be with you today. It's always an honor and a pleasure to be with you. And today, new issue, new articles, lots and lots of love from the superior spirits to us, and also a call to service today. We're going to spend the next few minutes with the teachings of Euripedes Barsanulfo. What a blessing. So if you have the app with you, or if you'd like to know of the Spiritist magazine, I'm going to invite you to navigate to spiritistmagazine.org. That's the website that hosts all of the resources for the Spiritist magazine, including the PDF version of the magazine. Here are the links on the upper right corner to the App Store and the Google Play Store. We have the links to the Facebook page where we post all of these announcements and recordings. And of course, a donate button because the work of the magazine is 100% volunteer based, from the editor to the graphic designers to the developers to all of us who host the articles of the magazine, the translators. But if you can donate, because it does cost money to run an enterprise like this. And here you have the link to the new issue. If you were to click on this link, it will take you to the MagCloud, which is the partner where you can buy only $10 a few lattes away. You can get, just for the price of a few lattes, you can get the physical copy of the magazine that you can have at home, at your Spiritist center. And of course, you can download the issue, any of the issues of the magazine, free of charge. Here only you go to link, and then another browser will happen, and here you have all of the content for you. Wonderful resources. I want to point out a couple more things before we go to the article. But you never know, there may be some people who are new. Feel free to share, let others know someone else may be in need of these teachings. Here's the link to the PDF downloads. You can browse and go down to any of the issues, 58 for you to download. You have an About Us. You can also write to the team at spiritistmagazine@gmail.com if you have something you'd like to volunteer with, an article you'd like to write, translations, talk to the editor-in-chief, and you guys can find something that is appropriate for your contribution at this moment. There's also a contact form you can write here to us, and of course the link to the newest issue of the magazine. And just to prove a point, I'm gonna browse through the new issue from directly from the browser. Normally, I am gonna switch in a moment, but I usually have the PDF version open so that I can annotate. But here, just for illustration, we have one article from one of the issues, which in this case is issue 58, is a chapter from the book Spiritist Conduct by the Spirit André Luiz Fruvaldo Vieira. There's always a letter from the editor-in-chief, and you have quantum physics. You have Américo Canhoto talking about educating children. You have another article here from the original Spiritist magazine from Kardec's time. Here, a message from Carlos Torres Pastorino in the book Minutes of Wisdom. Here is a chapter from the book Good News that is translated yet to be published. A majority of these articles here are from books psychographed by different mediums, such as Chico Xavier and Valdo Vieira, Valdo Vieira, Chico Xavier, and Divaldo Franco, for example, not only, but a lot of these are translated but not yet published because it takes a while to publish a book in a different language. But you and I can take advantage of these teachings today. And this is the article we're going to talk about today, titled 100 for 1 from the Spirit of Euripedes Barsanulfo. Here you have a spotlight article by May May. We'll talk about many of these as we go. Time to Heal with Chico Xavier. The Denial of the Impossible by Augusto Silva. This book is from Spiritist Ideal, the name of the book. Another book from another article from Joanna De Angelis, called Adversaries, from the book After the Storm, and much more. Our Celeste, Sheila. Here you have Emmanuel, The Wisdom of Emmanuel, and you have a wonderful article from the psychologist Iris Sinotti, and much more. You can enjoy these and more, as I said, spiritistmagazine.org. Now, on to the article that we're going to talk about today. Not only I have the pleasure to be with you every Tuesday at 8 p.m., but I also get to hear, if you stick around, you're going to end up hearing from our friend, Carol Correia, at her program at 9 p.m. So here we are together building this atmosphere of learning and ultimately an atmosphere of service and an atmosphere of healing towards ourselves, serving one another, being together, and serving the spirits that live with us, because there are many spirits that live around us, depending on how we do, enjoying the same things that we do. Here's the article 100 for 1. And Euripedes Barsanulfo says, it's a true call to service today. Here you can see on the left corner of this is a PDF version as it shows on my computer, of course. But here you can see I can easily browse and go to each and every article separately. So I'm going to hide the thumbnails here so that I can have a little bit more space to share with you a little bit of a time at a time. Euripedes Barsanulfo, he says, everything vibrates in perpetual motion without vacuum or inertia in the substance of things. We are vibratory beings. The depths of the composition of even the physical body, and the atoms and the subatomic particles, and everything is vibration. And the universe vibrates. And it's up to you and I to decide which attunement to that vibration we're going to be, right? Our thoughts create the life we have, our habits. The thoughts come with emotions, right? And then ideas and then action. It translates into the habitual things or the habits we have that creates the life we have. It's not only about expiation, and it's about how we are today and where we choose to vibrate, where we choose to attune, so that tomorrow I can build a better time. He says the human body and the spiritual body are divine constructions structured around the forces that combine and work constantly. So we have our physical body, we have our spiritual body. Remember, semi-matter. The spiritual body connects the physical body to the spirit. So that's where we are when we are incarnated. And they're divine constructions. Here we could talk about it for next hour. The importance of seeing the vehicle of this lifetime, how blessed it is to have a physical body, and the importance of caring for the physical body with no excess, no vanity, but just the reverence to the body. It's a much greater complexity than you and I can even fathom. If we start looking at our biology in school, it's way more complicated than what we even imagined. We're still every day discovering new things and learning new things about the body and how the body reacts. But it's a divine construction from feeding it the right foods, nutritional nourishment, spiritual nourishment, emotional nourishment, psychological nourishment. So what we eat, what we drink, what we watch, what we listen, what we pay attention to, and the things we do. All of that honors, when in balance and well, honors this divine construction. And those forces that structure this divine construction combine and work in sanctifying dynamism. For we, you and I, in turn, living parts of the living gospel, demonstrating that service is a condition of eternal health. We're constantly working. Each and every cell of your body right now is working constantly. The enzymes, the drive, the machinery of your cells. You and I are talking and breathing, our heart is beating, our brain is working. We don't even have to think about it. We can. It's constant motion. So, service brings health. Service, in a sense, I give off of myself and my time and my resources to help not only my own self and others. Is about seeing yourself, stopping with the boundaries and the separation we put around ourselves that causes us to hoard the resources we have. We're seeing ourselves as an agent in a society where we are a part of. Service is a condition for eternal health. So, what are we doing today to serve? Inspire wherever you go, the luminous trail of understanding. As we go about our day, how do we act so that we can be this luminous trail with light, with beauty, with understanding and compassion? Do I go about my day casting shadows, casting darkness everywhere with anger, gossip, intrigue, drama, or am I inspiring and calming to others? Because we want to follow the moral and the guide. And Jesus was this luminous trail of understanding that you and I today are following. 2,000 years later, we have the gospel, the biographies of Jesus, not just a piece of what he did while on the earth, just the piece that was preserved. But he was on the accounts of the Gospels, the accounts of the works, for example, of Neo Lucio and Umberto de Campos, these luminous trails of understanding. And that's what you want to be. You and I want to be. He says, build up the good. How do you do that? Build up the good. Be in listening to the laughter of the happy or hearing the sobs of the unfortunate companions. So we'll build up the good. We'll look at someone in the eye. And even if we can't speak to them, we look at them and we think, you have in you the seed of divinity, the potential to be a divine creature, an angelic creature. Today you are divine. We have to develop the potential. You are a child of God. Either we listen to the laughter of the happy, or we help with the sobs of those who suffer. And what happens? We create yield in the imperishable treasures of the soul. So when we stop, remember, service is a condition of eternal health. When we flip a switch and instead of going about our day thinking of how circumstances and people can serve us, we look around and say, how can I today inspire? How can I today build up the good in everyone who passes my way? Even if I don't talk to anybody for the entire day, if I don't see someone in person, I can pray for them. I can see them going about the neighborhood and praying for them. I can talk to those who serve us. We can bless those who make our lives better. So let's look for those opportunities for the service to be there. He continues, assist and help everyone, from the helpless child in need of tithing and lights to the heart, to the homeless pilgrim, the wandering guest on the waystrees. Do we help not only those who are around us, who directly impact our lives, but everyone? Because today we are in a position to help, but tomorrow we may be the ones who need help. Or in the past, we were the ones who needed help. So today we go around looking for opportunities to serve. It says, preserve as medals of merit the calluses in the hands that serve, that bless serving. Remember, when you work hard, your hands get tired and calluses form, depending on the work you do. The fatigue in the muscles that support with enthusiasm. Yes, it can be tiring to help. If you're helping, for example, a Spiritist center set up or an activity, you may find yourself with calluses for carrying the chairs or doing the work, or fatigue in the body when you are serving. The sweat on the forehead that cooperates for the happiness of all. The ribs that remind you the wounds found the fulfillment of austere obligations. So those are medals of merit when we are serving that help us to gain this eternal health. That does not mean we're not going to have problems, that we're not going to get ill, we're not going to have issues. It just means you will help us go through those difficult times. And those, what we sometimes forget is that when we serve, those are things that are edifying, helping us edify, create our way upward in the scale of spiritual development. Go to the chapter, to item 100 of the Spirits book, and you'll see the hierarchy of spirits. And then you can go there and make your 100,000-year plan and go from imperfect to good spirits, because we can't even fathom what it is to be a superior, pure spirit. But there are things today we can build upon, and it starts with service. It starts helping wherever you are. Let us pray in constructive activity that does not rest. Of course, when you talk about the law of labor in the Spirit's book, labor or work is any useful activity. So prayer is an activity, serving others is an activity, and there is a limit. So you have to balance service, fulfillment of obligations, and also rest. But it's not that every weekend we're going to start Friday night and go all the way to Sunday night and do stuff just for ourselves and rest along the way. There should be time for service of those who are less fortunate, right? Sometimes we get caught up on the fear of missing out, the FOMO, or worse, you only live once, so you want to do and do and do and go to places and we see others, and unconsciously we're swimming with the tide, with We're swimming with everybody else who thinks life is just about pleasure, doing things, having fun. When we forget, the earth is a planet of trials and expiations. We're not a planet of regeneration. Even if we were, it's not a celestial world. It's a transition world where we're tired of all that we see, and we are still seeing the effects of our selfishness and pride collectively. So it's important that we balance and we serve and we look for opportunities where we can be of service to others. Couple more things before we wrap up. Let us sing the rhythm of happy perseverance. Oops. We will breathe in the inhalation of unmixed solidarity. Charity converts sacrifice into delight, tiredness into rest, suffering into euphoria. Pure air undoes the unhealthy fumes. Clear water dissolves the debris of the shade. Morning sun dispels darkness. Empty hands or unoccupied hands denounce the idle heart. See, that's why we are always constructively doing things that will make the lives of all better. That is the fulfillment of the law of society. It's not just about us, my career, my family, my things, but you are one piece of an almost 8 billion piece puzzle on this earth. That's just in the incarnate realm. Not talking about the discarnates. Imagine if we have one piece, you and I, of 30 billion puzzle pieces, plus all our mentors and guides, their mentors, the spirits that guide the development of the natural elements of the earth, of the vegetable kingdom, of the animal kingdom. There's so much that's going on. All the colonies and outposts and hospitals and spheres attached to the earth. So we're just one very important piece of the puzzle. So when you do what you came here to do, when we fulfill the obligations that we took, we accept it as part of our reincarnatory plan, we are putting the little piece on the puzzle of this whole ship, Mother Earth, led by Christ Jesus. So let's continue to see what we should do to not be this empty hands with an idle heart. Be a companion of the dawn, awaking together with the day in the works of patience and goodness, sustenance and elevation. The harvest of the Lord in the indefatigable soil of time holds unexplored riches and opulent veins. He who writes an edifying page, that's a beautiful post you can post on Facebook and Instagram today, shows a good example, applying the teachings of the Christ in our daily lives. Not just talking about it, but showing the good example, because more is caught than taught. People see us being good. The mirror neurons in their brain helps them to emulate the same behavior. As much as they can copy you when we are not as elevated in our actions. Educates a child, provides a comforting message, interweaves a noble speech, or extends a godsend. He or she shall gather 100 for a few grains of love, which he or she has sown in the sowing of the eternal good, laboring with life for its endless joy. So he's saying here, we gather 100 for the few grains of love we sow. So today, the inspiration and the request from the superior spirits is that you and I go and sow. Let's sow little tiny seeds of love, of kindness, of help everywhere we go, so that we can collect, in the end, hundreds of grains of love for each one. What a beautiful message today, dear friend. It's always an honor to be with you and, of course, to spend this time with Professor Euripedes Barsanulfo. This message is titled 100 for One. And remember, you can go to spiritistmagazine.org. You can download issue 58, read and meditate on it. You can also write to us at spiritistmagazine@gmail.com. There's a contact form on the website. Let us know how we can serve you. Let us know how you would like to contribute and be a part of this team, if that's what you'd like to do. And between now and the next time we meet, may you stay well, may you stay safe, and I will see you, God willing, next week with another Spiritist Magazine program. Have a blessed day.